Well, we've certainly been paying attention lately and have learned that Colorado, as a state, does not regulate the funeral industry. That, though, could soon be changing.
Yeah, we want to talk to our 9 News legal analyst, Whitney Traylor, about this, because there is a new bill moving forward. But before we get there, I mean, this used to be regulated. Why on earth would they ever decide to deregulate this industry?
Right. A lot of people are asking that question, and it's not really clear. What I have gleaned is that the legislature basically said that the Colorado Funeral Directors Association weren't enforcing the regulations. And some companies were trying to kind of push to sort of deregulate because it was cheaper to not have educated funeral directors. So, you know, it was kind of like everybody's pointing at each other, but that was back in 1983.
So is this legislation supposed to mirror what was in place, or is it supposed to go further?
It's supposed to go further and go further than most of the nation because, as Alex said in the lead-in, we're the only state in the nation not regulated. So they're trying to take it a lot further with respect to your qualifications. So they're asking that there be a background check, you have a degree in mortuary science, which is a pretty intense degree, pass a national exam, do an apprenticeship, pay fees, and importantly, have no discipline in other states.
So there would be a license, and that you'd need a license to operate a funeral home in Colorado.
That's exactly right. And right now, there is no requirement. You just register. That's it. But there's nobody coming to do any oversight. There's no ongoing education requirements. So the new proposed legislation would change all that.
Yeah. And you got to think that the legislation is going to go through, but just say it doesn't. Like, what are the options? At that point.
Well, and so that's part of the issue. So really, since about 2008, people have been pushing on the DA to prosecute, and the DAs are saying there's no laws to prosecute. So right now, there's like abuse of corpse, and then there's financial, tax, fraud, kind of white-collar crime. So that's part of the issue, is that there's no real laws to enforce. So that's, I think, why, well, you're seeing people pressing legislators to do something, but of course, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen everything under the sun from this industry. Completely egregious, outrageous, selling body parts, bodies lying around. I mean, sending wrong ashes, just horrible situations.
So we're talking about oversight from the state. Do people, though, have civil recourse as well? Could you sue funeral directors if you think you're being mishandled and your money is being spent poorly?
Yes, and there should be and there will be civil lawsuits, and yeah, you can continue to sue them. Now, part of the issue there is, of course, every case deals with liability and then damages. And so if they're found liable, which seems, based on the facts that we're seeing, very likely, then do they have the money then, you know, the damages? Because here you
could win your suit and end up with nothing for it.
Exactly.
Other than a Pyrrhic victory.
Exactly, and I don't know what the insurance requirements are, and I didn't see in the legislation if there was a requirement to have insurance, so there's going to be a lot of people not being able to get any recourse, but I think at this point the bigger issue is what happened to their loved one, and that's where the FBI and the CBI and others are getting involved in really helping people to track down, even as it relates to their ashes, because folks were getting cement sometimes, other people's ashes, all kinds of craziness.
And we talk about these cases, but I mean, this is the most sensitive time in most people's lives when you're dealing with the death of a loved one. So you think about like emotional
distress.
That's right.
That's exactly. No, that exacerbates the damages for sure, because, and you could just imagine if you're a jury sitting in front hearing these facts, and some of the stuff that I read was horrible. If that was your actual family, and they testified earlier this week at the Capitol, and it moved through committee, I think, unanimously. And the testimony was heart-wrenching. So you mentioned if it doesn't pass, I can't anticipate I don't know who would vote against this, because even the funeral home directors are saying we need this regulation.
It'll likely pass, and then it becomes a matter of what is it really? How does it affect the industry? What kind of teeth does it have? And how will they, in fact, put it into place? But you'd have to think, especially with what's happened in Colorado in the last 6-8 weeks, that nobody's going to stand in front of this train.
Yeah, and I think this will actually probably push people out of the way now, like knowing that these enforcement issues are coming forward. I think you're going to see a lot of people just get out of the business, because that's what you saw when we were the only state not being regulated. You saw a lot of people who had previous punitive measures, their license stripped in other places, and then people who simply were unqualified coming. So I think we'll see less people in the industry.
Maybe that's a good thing
Yeah.
after what we've seen.
Yeah.
Still a story here in Colorado. Whitney, it's good to talk to you as always. Thanks.
Thanks.